Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Farside Podcast, Episode 3. That's correct, we're already on our third edition of the Farside Podcast. And today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be telling you guys a story that it doesn't involve NTD films very much, if at all, today, because normally our podcast, the last two podcasts we have done, have involved NTD films, and that's been like the main subject. But today, the only part that really does relate to NTD films is that Noah Davidson is kind of involved in this story, just a slight bit. So, here on my sheet of paper that they give me before I go on the air, because they give me like a little piece of paper here, we got some stuff I gotta tell you guys before I start to tell you the story. So, the name of this story, because we gave it a title, is called The Middle Rink. And by the way, guys, I am involved in this story. This story does involve me. I was a part of this story. Not a big part of it, but I was there. And anyways, the story is called The Middle Rink. And here are some of the characters which it involves. And this is a true story 100%. I'm not making this up. It's a true story. It actually happened. So, some of the characters we got here. We got a hockey team of 14-year-old players. So, the team consisted of, I think, like 14-year-old players. And we've got two boys who are around 8 and 9 years old, it says here. We've also got a group of mothers, 5 or 6 mothers, who are watching this event take place from inside the community center, because this took place in an outdoor rink, which we'll get into in a minute. And then we've got an angry man, or a man, anyways, it says here. And you can picture this guy. Here's a little description on him. He's wearing all black, like he's wearing a black jacket, black pants, black gloves, black toque, everything, just all black. And he can kind of be pictured as a personality-wise. He can be like one of those crazy hockey dads, I guess. So he'd be like screaming all the time. So yeah, those are the characters we're going to be dealing with. We got a hockey team, 14-year-old players, 8 and 9-year-old kids on the rink. Not really sure why ages is so key in this, but we'll, I guess, get into that soon. We got a group of mothers and some angry man wearing all black. Anyways, so I guess we're going to start here with the story. So what happened in the story is it takes place in an outdoor hockey rink. Takes place exactly at a community center called Sturgeon Heights Community Center. And it has, Sturgeon Heights has 2 outdoor rinks, which are full-sized hockey rinks. So they've got, like, boards, they've got benches. They're a full-size hockey rink, and it's got 2 of them. And then in between those 2 hockey rinks, because there's a bit of space in between, is another rink, a small rink. It has no boards. It's not a real-sized hockey rink, but it's like a miniature hockey rink. And as the title of this story suggests, and this is the nickname for the rink, it's called the Middle Rink due to the fact that it's in between the 2 big hockey rinks. And so what happens here is I played on a hockey team last year, and so did Noah. Me and Noah being NTD Films director, creator, Noah Davidson anyways. We played on the same hockey team, and we practiced twice a week, providing the weather is good, at this community center, Sturgeon Heights. And we practiced on one of the 2 big, full-sized outdoor hockey rinks. And anyway, so what happens is, normally for a practice, players on our team, including Noah and I, show up about 30 minutes early. And before us, every time before we practice, there's another practice that goes on, that's like from, I think we were 8:30 to 9:30, so from 7:15, or it would be 7:30 to 8:30 because they don't flood the rink. So from 7:30 to 8:30, there was a practice on before us, and we were on afterwards. And I guess we were ready to go about 10-15 minutes early for this one practice. And the practice before us was still going on, so we couldn't go on the rink, but everyone was standing outside waiting to go on the rink, and they had nothing to do, and there's still like 10 minutes left in the practice before ours. And so there were these only 2 kids on this middle rink, because there's the middle rink, which you have to cross the middle rink to get onto the 2 big rinks anyways. And there were only these 2 kids who were the 8 and 9-year-olds that we talk about here. And they were just like playing one-on-one on the rink or whatever, just whatever they were doing, I don't even know. And so our team, I guess, and this wasn't very nice of them, and I'll admit that, decided to push them off the rink. Not literally push them, or physically push them, but, kind of like force them off the rink by, we all just crowded the rink and decided to do our own scrimmage. So these kids are off of the rink, they're sitting in the snowbank, and I'm pretty sure they're kind of upset that this happened. And we, I guess, decided to play a full scrimmage on this rink. That's like a miniature hockey rink. And so while this scrimmage was going on, I kind of looked back at the window because there's like these big windows in the community center because there's like the building which has the dressing rooms and the the little lobby. And there's these full-sized windows which you can look out onto, directly out onto the middle rink. And there was about 5 or 6 mothers standing there. And 2 of those 6 mothers were crying, like actually crying. And Noah, if you ask him this, he probably will say, well, I don't really remember that happening. I don't even think Noah looked through those windows at any point in time. So these 2 mothers were crying, and the other 4 or 3, however many there were comforting them and shaking their heads. And they were crying because of the fact that their kids are being pushed off the rink by these big, mean 14-year-olds, whatever you want to say about that. And so that was going on, and they didn't really want to, these mothers, I guess, didn't want to go out there and yell at us, I guess, is what I can presume, due to the fact that they didn't. But some guy did, and that's where our angry man comes in here. He came kind of just like, I don't remember really where he came from, but he just came and he started screaming at the top of his lungs at us, and he's like, you guys get off this rink, and he started dropping F-bombs, I'm not joking. He, he used some other language that wasn't very nice. He's like, get your off the rank. You can presume what these swear words are. Fill them in yourselves, guys. And he actually went as far, and Noah also doesn't remember this, but this is what I think was a bit too far, but he also went as far as grabbing one of our players' sticks, and he took that player's stick and lifted up the stick right in between the player's legs. So, he hit him right in the hockey pants, because you know what hockey pants are, but he hit him and just, boom, hit him. And the player just dropped to the ice. He was kind of hurt, but he got up afterwards, whatever. So he hits him in between the legs, which, yeah, it probably hurt. And then he takes another one of our players and grabs him by the jersey and just hauls him right off the ice. No reason. It was just unnecessary because he's already yelling at us to get off the rink. He didn't need to do this, but he does it anyways. And then whatever. So then what happens is our coaches come out, and he kind of explains what's going on to our coaches while still yelling. I mean, the coaches could hear him. He didn't need to yell, but he's screaming, whatever, still dropping F-bombs left and right here. And so our coaches got mad at us, told us to step off the rink or whatever. And at the time this was going on, the other practice was just wrapping up at that time, and the players were kind of coming off the ice. So then after this guy starts lecturing us, he's mad. He's like, you guys can't be on here. You are not having full ice scrimmages. This is for younger kids and people who are out to have a leisure skate only, I guess, is kind of the way he was wording it. And so whatever, that's fine. I mean, he could have done it in a much nicer manner, but he's getting the point across in a very aggressive way. So then after he's done lecturing us, he goes over to the kids and he says, you guys can now play, come on, pats them on the back, whatever. And so that's kind of where you think the story ends. There's a bit more to it. So we go on the ice now because this other practice wrapped up, it's over, and we go on to one of the bigger rinks that we practice on every week. Meanwhile, all 5 or 6 of those mothers come rushing onto the ice, cheering, and they come over to the kids and start comforting their kids, because I guess those 2 boys were crying apparently after this, which I mean is possible to believe. And so these mothers came over and started comforting them, like, it's okay, don't worry, those bullies are gone, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You can kind of picture the way it might play out. Meanwhile, also, some people who were just kind of like, there's like a loop around the rinks. There's like a big skating loop that you can like go around or whatever, kind of like a track, only ice track, that you might use for speed skating or whatever. And so some people from there were some like kids on there and some adults on this loop. They came over onto the middle rink and it started getting filled up, and they're like, what's going on? Cheering up these kids because they heard about what happened and everything. And they're like, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. And soon enough, this middle rink is just packed with parents and other kids cheering up these 2 boys who were, I guess you could say, attacked by our hockey team or forced off the rink, and the truth there. And so what happened is I guess there was a reporter there from, I don't know what he worked for. I think he worked for the Metro or something. And, the Metro, by the way, guys, it's like a newspaper in Winnipeg. If you're not from Winnipeg, it's going to be hard to follow up on that. But he's this news reporter, and he came over and he decided he was going to maybe cover this story. So he wanted to ask some people. So there's a lot of people to ask because this middle rink is full of parents and other kids. So he just decides to ask these 2 or 3 mothers standing around talking. He's like, what do you think about what happened? And actually, 2 of these mothers were the ones looking out the window watching this whole situation unfold. And they said, and I quote it here, we were very upset and shaken by what those jerks, referring to our hockey team, did to those little kids. We're fuming. fuming. So they just say it 3 times, and they get really aggressive, as it is written out here, because it's in caps, 3 exclamation marks. Afterwards, that's what's written on my paper. And so they're really mad, and then anyways, this reporter goes and interviews the kids, and the kids kind of like, I don't know, they didn't write in what the kids said there, but this reporter covered it. Apparently, it was kind of in the Metro as like a very small section, something. I think it was titled, Teens Harsh to Little Kids Need Beating or something. I don't know what they even wrote about the whole situation. I don't want to know what they wrote about it. And anyway, so I guess that's pretty much the moral of the story, is that, I guess be careful what you do, because it could end up in the Metro. I don't know what the point of the story is. I'm telling you guys this story just because I thought it would be fun. And anyways, it says here afterwards, because the reporter followed it, afterwards the kids went inside with all these parents, and they bought them hot chocolate and apparently candy and chocolate and stuff, and they all just kind of like talked to them inside, and they had a great time. These kids were cheered up by all these people, coming and sticking up for them after what this hockey team did. So that's the point of the story. Right there, that's the story, and that concludes this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. That was the 3rd edition of the Farside Podcast. We'll be heading your way later this week with another one. I'm not really sure exactly when, but I know later this week we'll be getting another podcast out to you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I know it's a Monday today. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you again. As for now, I'm Landon Miker, your host, and I'm signing out for today. Thank you very much. See you next time. That was the 3rd edition of the Farside Podcast.